a star. They let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the... You can do anything.
If you're pretty enough, talented enough, or rich enough, you can get away with almost anything you want. So tonight on Dance Planet, let's take a look at some of the worst crimes the entertainment class has been charged with. David Anthony Burke, or Deforted, has officially been charged with murder, and he's the only one on this list today that will likely never perform or see the light of day again. And I do want to throw a quick content warning up here. I'm not going to show anything crazy, but it does get a little graphic in the description, so if you want to skip ahead to the next entry, go ahead and do that now. On September 8th, 2025, the remains of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who was reported missing on April 5th, 2024, were discovered in LA, California, inside the front trunk of an impounded Tesla registered to David Burke, a musician known professionally as Deforted. It then comes out that 14-year-old Celeste, who had met Burke when she was only 11 years old, and the two even had matching tattoos. Now, there's evidence of this relationship through his Discord, through text messages, and plastered all over his subreddit that he moderated. And strangely enough, David was actually allowed to continue touring after the discovery of Celeste's body. And at first, there was a bunch of fans defending him, and I actually watched this happen in real time in the subreddit. People were saying, well, clearly he had nothing to hide, or otherwise the cops would have ended the tour right away. And then it happened. A few days later, his tour was suddenly canceled. All of his sponsors started dropping him. It became very clear that this was not going to come out with David looking good. But there was still no arrest for like 5 months. And evidently, they were just building a solid case until April 16th when they finally arrested him. And on April 20th, the LAPD and District Attorney's Office announced that Burke would be charged with first-degree murder, lewd and lascivious acts with a minor under 14, and mutilation of a body. Following his arrest, prosecutors reported that they found a significant amount of child pornography on Burke's iCloud storage. So the two began a sexual relationship when David was 18 and Celeste was 13 years old. The two even traveled together all the way from Las Vegas to London and Texas during the summer of 2024 before finally breaking up in the fall, although they did continue to communicate. After Rivas's parents confiscated her cell phone, Burke was alleged to have paid one of her classmates $1,000 to purchase a new phone on her behalf, where Rivas then expressed jealousy over Burke's relationships with other women while he was on tour in a lengthy argument and text messages on April 22nd, 2025, where she even threatened to make their relationship public to damage his career and image. The following night, Burke arranged for an Uber to transport Rivas from her Lake Elsinore home to his Hollywood Hills residence, and it's believed that Burke stabbed Rivas afterwards and watched her bleed out. Burke then drove to Santa Barbara County at least 3 times to further dispose of evidence. He purchased a variety of items under a false name and then had them delivered to his residence, including a shovel, 2 chainsaws, a body bag, an inflatable pool, and a burn cage. Rivas's body was placed in the inflatable pool before being dismembered with a chainsaw. Blood samples collected from Burke's garage matched Rivas's genetic profile, and blue plastic fragments that matched the pool's description were found in her body. Her left ring and pinky fingers were also amputated, the former featuring a tattoo with Burke's name. Burke placed her corpse in a garbage bag within the body bag and loaded it in the front trunk of his Tesla. Surveillance footage corroborates that Burke was the last person to drive the vehicle before it was abandoned as he left to embark for his concert in the summer of 2025. So obviously he is just an absolutely terrible person, and I was never a fan of his music, and I am certainly not a fan of any of this. And rest in peace, Celeste. I'm so sorry that no one protected you. There's certainly a lot more to the story that we don't have time for today, so maybe one day we'll do a deep dive. Let me know below if you'd like to see that kind of stuff here. Chris Brown almost killed Rihanna and has an entire wiki page dedicated to his ongoing violent behavior. On Sunday, February 8th, 2009 at 00:25 hours, Brown was driving a vehicle with Robin F., Rihanna, as the front passenger on an unknown street in LA. Robin F. picked up Brown's phone and observed a 3-page text message from a woman who Brown had a previous sexual relationship with. A verbal argument ensued, and Brown pulled the vehicle over to an unknown street and attempted to force her out. Brown was unable to force Robin F. out of the vehicle because she was wearing her seatbelt. Always wear your seatbelt. When he could not force her to exit, he took his right hand and shoved her head against the passenger window of the vehicle, causing an approximate 1-inch raised circular contusion. Robin F. turned to face Brown and he punched her in the left eye with his right hand. He then drove away in the vehicle and continued to punch her in the face with his right hand while steering the vehicle with his left. The assault caused Robin F.'s mouth to fill with blood and blood to spatter all over her clothing and the interior of the vehicle. Brown looked at Robin and stated, "I'm going to beat the shit out of you when we get home. You wait and see. Robin picked up her phone and called her personal assistant, Jennifer, who did not answer. But while her voicemail greeting was playing, Robin pretended to talk to her and stated, "Hey, I'm on the way home. Make sure the cops are there when I get there." After Robin faked the call, Brown looked at her and stated, "Now you really did the stupidest thing ever. Now I'm really going to kill you." Robin then attempted to send a text message to her other personal assistant, Melissa, when Brown then snatched the cell phone out of her hand and threw it out of the window to an unknown street. He stopped the vehicle and Robin grabbed the keys, but Brown didn't realize what she did with them and began punching her in the face and arms. He then placed her in another headlock where he began applying pressure to her left and right carotid arteries, trying to make her unconscious. She reached up with her other hand and tried to gouge his eyes out in an attempt to free herself, where Brown then bit her ring and middle fingers and then released her. He continued to punch her in the legs and feet, causing several more contusions. Robin began screaming for help and Brown exited the vehicle and walked away. A resident in the neighborhood heard Robin's plea for help and called 911, causing a police response. Later that afternoon, Chris called Robin as if nothing happened, where she told him she did in fact go to the police and file a report against him, which he then hung up and was ordered not to contact her again. So he damn near killed Rihanna, and this is his response.
She grabs my nuts, and when she do that, I bite her arm, I think, as I'm driving, because I'm still trying to drive. And it's just like a petty, like, stupid fight.
Brown was found guilty of felony assault.
I remember she tried to kick me. It's like just her just being upset. But then I really hit her. Like I with a closed fist, like I punched her, you know, and it busted her lip. And when I saw it, I was in shock. I was like, why the hell did I hit her like? So from there, she just spit in my face, like spit the blood in my face. Physical fights as well, mutual sides, and this is the first time I get to say anything, and like I said, I still love Rihanna.
In 2000,
and this is clearly not some kind of isolated incident with him. Let's just scan really quickly through his Wikipedia list and see how many charges he has. So we've got his DV with Rihanna in 2009. He then got in a scuffle with Drake in 2012, a scuffle with Frank Ocean in 2013, a hit and run again in 2013, an assault and probation violation in 2013 in Washington, D.C., an assault on rapper Mike G back in 2016. We've got gun threats from 2016, and then in 2017, an order of protection issued to Karuchi Tron, another one of Brown's ex-girlfriend that he beat. Then in 2018, he assaulted a photographer. In 2022, he was accused of rape. And most recently in 2025, there is a nightclub incident in Manchester, England, where he slammed a tequila bottle over music producer Abraham Dewa's head while at a London nightclub. Make no mistake about it, this man is an absolute monster, and he's still selling out concerts, and it really bothers me. He's been charged obviously multiple times, but nothing ever keeps him away for long. But enough of his fans support him to keep him a multimillionaire.
Isn't that guy that likes always talking about sex and stuff and being all like a sexy rock star in movies?
Russel Brand, who has made the full transition from hedonistic weirdo to conservative family values spiritual weirdo, is finally facing criminal charges in the UK and civil charges in the US. He's been charged with 1 count of rape from a 1999 incident in a hotel in Bournemouth, 1 count of indecent assault in 2001 after he allegedly grabbed a woman's forearm and attempted to drag her into the male bathroom of a TV station in Westminster, 1 count of oral rape from 2004 from an incident at a bar in Westminster during a birthday party, 2 counts of sexual assault, again in Westminster for allegedly touching a woman's breast without consent, and the other back at the TV station where he allegedly groped, kissed, and grabbed and pushed a woman up against a wall. So he was kind of a busy guy from 99 to 2005, right? And that's when he was also probably working the hardest to achieve his fame, which he then kind of achieved between, I'd say, 2008 and 2012. The guy was everywhere. And ironically, this image he was building was kind of this like sex icon, pseudo rock god, doesn't really take no for an answer. I'll tell you, it has not aged very well, and it's kind of gross looking back at it.
Sleep in the United Kingdom where I'm from, the age of consent is 16, and I did sleep with a 16-year-old when I was 30. But when I was 30, I was a very different person.
And I think he tried to get ahead of it by kind of shifting into the religious family man we see draped in white linen on his podcast today. I believe it's a grift to cover his sexually abusive past. He was demonetized on YouTube shortly after the pandemic when the allegations really started coming out in 2023, but he still uploads to this day in 2026 on Rumble, everybody's favorite alt-right YouTube. And I would encourage you guys to flood his comment section, but I don't want him to have any engagements or any more watch hours than he already has. So that, everybody, is where I'm going to leave it tonight. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, I love you, and I think you look really, really good today. Let me know if any of these surprised you or what you'd like to see next. There were so many great ideas in the comments last time that we'll definitely be getting to in the future here, so I want to keep that rolling. This channel is going to grow so quick with such an awesome community like you guys, so thank you so much for that. Okay, bye.